NATO's Article 5 to defend the US. What would happen if there was a full-scale nuclear war between Russia and the United States? Based on non-classified data, the aftermath might go something like this. When one side launches nuclear missiles, the other side detects them and fires back before impact. U.S. submarine-launched ballistic missiles from west of Norway start striking Russia after about 10 minutes, and Russian ones from north of Canada start hitting the U.S. a few minutes later. The very first strikes are high-altitude EMP attacks, frying electronics and power grids by creating an electromagnetic pulse of tens of thousands of volts per meter. The next strikes target command and control, as well as nuclear launch facilities. Land-based intercontinental ballistic missiles take about half an hour to arrive. Major cities are targeted, both because they contain military facilities and to stymie the enemy's post-war recovery. Some cruise missiles take hours to reach their target. Each impact creates a fireball about as hot as the core of the sun, followed by a radioactive mushroom cloud. These intense explosions vaporize people nearby and cause fires and blindness further away. The fireball expansion then causes a blast wave that damages buildings, crushing nearby ones. The United Kingdom and France have nuclear capabilities and are obliged by NATO's Article 5 to defend the US. So Russia hits them too. Firestorms engulf many cities, where storm-level winds fan the flames, igniting anything that can burn, melting glass and some metals, and turning asphalt into flammable hot liquid. But the explosions, the electromagnetic pulse, and the radioactivity aren't the worst part. Nuclear winter is, caused by the black carbon smoke from the nuclear firestorms. The Hiroshima atomic bomb caused such a firestorm, but today's hydrogen bombs are much more powerful. A large city like Moscow, with almost 50 times more people, can create much more smoke. And a firestorm sends plumes of black smoke up into the stratosphere, far above any rain clouds that would otherwise wash out the smoke. This black smoke gets heated by sunlight, lofting it like a hot air balloon for up to a decade. High-altitude jet streams are so fast that it takes only a few days for the smoke to spread across much of the northern hemisphere. In the meantime, Earth gets freezing cold, even during the summer, with farmland in Kansas cooling by about 20 degrees centigrade or 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and other regions cooling almost twice as much. A recent scientific paper estimates that over 5 billion people could starve to death, including around 99% of those in the United States, Europe, Russia, and China. We obviously don't know how many people will survive a nuclear war. But if it's even remotely as bad as scientists think, then it has no winners, merely losers. What would happen?
All right. Shalom, shalom. First off, give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakadash, giving double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are enduring in truth and sincerity, of the men and the women who follow. This is the brother Kratazah from the GMS Nebraska camp, coming back at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. This one being entitled "The Day Cometh That Shall Burn As an Oven." All right, so we listened to the video, and they had some pretty good facts in here. This comment is absolutely biased. You can tell it's an American. It says, "For those who need to know this, USA would absolutely steamroll over Russia. It's not an even comparison. It's not even a comparison, which that's very untrue, because when you go to, let's see. So it says Russia has estimated 5,580, and the United States has 5,044. So roughly about the same, But not only that, as the scripture says, Jeremiah 50:14, Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow, and shoot at her, spare no arrow. So when you go back into the video, it started talking about France and the UK getting hit by Russia. Well, France and the UK are going to shoot their missiles on America. Okay? It says, all ye that bend the bow, everyone who possesses these nuclear weapons, says, shoot at her and spare no arrow. So shoot at who? Shoot at the United States, at Babylon, all right? At the good old US of A. It says, for she has sinned against the Lord, right? So let me see. How's the scripture go? But wish I bear with me. Yeah, here we go. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border, right? The men of thy confederacy is exactly what they're talking about. America is in a pact with NATO, so it's supposed to be a mutual defense treaty. But you have all these sanctions and tariffs and all of that going on right now. These other countries aren't feeling the United States as they were before. All right. Um, Trump is trying to tax these people. He's talking about taking over Greenland. He's doing too much, and these people are being turned off, so to speak, to Trump. All right. And eventually, it's going to come to a head that when this third world war starts, everyone's going to shoot their missiles on them. It says the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Right. So let's rewatch this and let's get some scriptures on the way.
If there was a full-scale nuclear war between Russia and the United States, based on non-classified data, the aftermath might go something like this. When one side launches nuclear missiles, the other side detects them and fires back before impact. U.S. submarine-launched ballistic missiles from west of Norway start striking Russia after about 10 minutes, and Russian ones from north of Canada start hitting the U.S. a few minutes later. The very first strikes are high-altitude EMP attacks, frying electronics and power grids by creating an electromagnetic pulse of tens of thousands of volts per meter. The next strikes target command and control, as well as nuclear launch facilities. Land-based intercontinental ballistic missiles take about half an hour to arrive. Major cities are targeted.
Yeah, what does the scripture say? Revelation chapter 18 and 10, it says, standing afar. Oh, let me start up. Man, this whole chapter is good. Revelation 18 and 8, it says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she should be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord who judgeth her. Right? Speaking about America and its coming judgment. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, right? Because everyone makes money off of America. So these are the countries who are committing fornication with America, all right? Because America is just a big dollar sign, to the world. Just it's a consumer nation, so everyone's getting their money off of her. It says, shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Right? So because America's going to be destroyed, their cash cow is now gone. That's why they're going to lament. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city, Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. Just like the guy said, it don't take that long for these missiles to be shot from the various places around the world. About a half hour. All right, so it's not going to take that long to completely destroy America. Says, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth her merchandise anymore. It's going to be no need to make Jordans and make all these fancy cars that, and all this, other BS that's, Americans buy. Because there's going to be no more Americans. All right, America's going to be completely blown off the map.
Because they contain military facilities and to stymie the enemy's post-war recovery. Some cruise missiles take hours to reach their target. Each impact creates a fireball about as hot as the core of the sun, followed by a radioactive mushroom cloud.
Yeah, so he said about the temperature of the sun. Hey, this is Malachi 4:1. It says, "For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven." Right? Hey, when one of these missiles hit, it's the temperature of the core of the sun. Hey, I think that would qualify as burning like an oven. And all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And just look at this comment. Like I said, for those who need to know, U.S. would absolutely steamroll over Russia. It's not even a comparison. That's being proud. All right, Americans are proud. All right, as the king is, so is the people. All right, Donald Trump is proud. America, America as a whole is proud, and the people are proud, and people are going to get judged. All right, this place is going to get judged. It says, "Yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and that day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, and shall leave them neither root nor branch." All right, it's going to be completely destroyed, level to the ground.
These intense explosions vaporize people nearby and cause fires and blindness further away.
Vaporize people, so might be 14. Kind. Was it 13? Dang. Just bear with me here. It's gotta be 14. Okay, yeah, okay, I knew it was 14. Okay, here we go. Zechariah 14:12, it says, "And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth." It's just kind of like that the Terminator scene with Sarah Connor. Yeah, this one right here. It's just gonna consume away, or it's gonna everything. All right, and then specifically when you get into, their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Their words. They're not gonna be able to speak against Yahweh Shem Yahushai. They're not gonna be able to speak against the Israelites. All right, this is gonna be the end of Babylon the Great. All right, the end of America.
The fireball expansion then causes a blast wave that damages buildings, crushing nearby ones. The United Kingdom and France have nuclear capabilities and are obliged by NATO's Article 5 to defend the U.S. So Russia hits them too.
Right. Like
Firestorms.
It says, we read that back in Obadiah, how their confederacy is going to be broken up. All right, and their own people are going to shoot missiles on America.
Of many cities, where storm-level winds fan the flames, igniting anything that can burn, melting glass.
The wind was going to fan the flames. So let's see if we can go back to Jeremiah 51. This is Jeremiah 51:1. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst, in the midst of them that rise up against me with the destroying wind. It just spoke about that wind. It says, and will send unto Babylon fanners, and they shall fan her and shall empty her land from one day, right? It's like for the day of trouble, they should be against her round about. So the Lord speaks about, the fanners increasing the fire, all right? Because what does the fire need to survive? It needs stubble, all right? It needs a fuel source, and it needs air. It needs oxygen, all right? And that oxygen is going to just increase the fire.
And some metals, and turning asphalt into flammable hot liquid.
Yeah, what did the scripture say about that? The elements. Shall melt. Second Peter chapter 3 and verse 10, it says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, right? Everyone is doing what they want to do. When I say everyone, I'm talking about the 2/3, just not being attentive to the Lord. It says they're going to be overtaken as a thief in the night because they're not watching. The hopeful elect are watching, watching videos like this, watching, what's going on politically and geopolitically, just knowing the times, man. It says, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. That noise is, those missiles hitting the ground and, making those big booms. It says, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, right? He just spoke about, the buildings and the ground and the asphalt and all of that is going to melt, or it's going to dissolve. It says, in the earth also, and the works that are therein should be burnt up. What are the works? Speaking about, all the nasty shit that America's involved with, the alphabet gang, all right, women's liberation, women's rights, all right, the oppression, the systematic oppression of the Israelites, the rape, rob, and murder of, the Israelites, and the list goes on and on. But for all of that, America's going to get judged.
But the explosions, the electromagnetic pulse, and the radioactivity aren't the worst part. Nuclear winter is, caused by the black carbon smoke from the nuclear firestorms.
Right, so the scripture says, it says blot out the sun. Maybe it says, let me see. This is Joel chapter 2 and verse 31. It says, and the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and the terrible day of the Lord. Right? So, when he goes into, the fallout and all of that, it's going to be a bad time for, anyone who's not of the elect. All right, but the elect's going to be saved. So it says when nobody wins in a war with U.S. and Russia, the elect is going to win. Yahweh Shem Yahshai is going to win. All right, that's what's going to happen. All right, so I got this Revelation 16, but I don't really need it. Kind of hit the point. Revelation 6 or 2nd Ezra 16:3, it says, "A sword is sent unto you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away?" Right? He's speaking about the missiles. May any man drive away a hungry lion in the wood, or may anyone quench a fire in stubble? When it had begun to burn, may one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer? The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? So, hey, at the end of the day, this is sanctioned by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right, so you can't stop it. You can't turn it away. You can't deny it. You can't delay it. You can only witness it, and Lord as well hope to be saved from it. All right, so we're gonna end it on that, and Lord as well, this is edifying, and we give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakar Kadash, giving double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS, salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are enduring in truth and sincerity, all the men and women who follow. Shalom.